But here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Off-White Air Jordan 1 in the UNC colorway. Can you tell any differences between these two? Obviously, other than the size. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we probably have one of my biggest comparisons I've ever done, and it's between two pairs of a real and fake pair of the Air Jordan 1 Off-White UNC. But before we get into that video, I'd like to give a big shout out to LegitMark, who are the sponsors of today's video. LegitMark is the standard for sneaker authentication and is the safest place to get your sneakers authenticated, especially if you're spending this amount on a retail pair. So there'll be a link in the description if you want to check them out. So can you tell which one is the retail and which one is the fake one just by looking at the box? And this is the retail one that I purchased for a resale price, and it set me back quite a bit. So we're just going to be using this video as a comparison to break down some of the differences between a retail pair and a fake pair if you are trying to purchase a retail pair. So the first thing to note is this box is massive compared to this box, and that is because this retail pair that I have is a US 14, because that's the only pair that I could get that was a reasonable price and was in dead stock condition, whereas the fake one that was sent to me is a US 10. So there is a size difference, so take that into consideration for some of the differences. In terms of the box, however, this one is a little damaged, but not too bad, whereas this one is in practically perfect condition. Also, on the labels itself, I will give you a close-up of both, but on the retail one, it is a UK label, so it doesn't have the US price sticker on the side. So if I actually give you a close-up of the labels, I'm going to take a quick look at the differences. So obviously, the main thing to note is the actual size difference, but in terms of actual text and the color code, there is very little difference at all. On the retail one, the text is slightly thicker and cleaner printed than that of the fake one. And if you look at the Jordan.com text, which is in gold, you can see that on the retail one, it's very cleanly printed, whereas on the fake one, it's a little bit smudged. But that is all the differences on the label, so they are very minor. So do look carefully if you are trying to legit check. Looking at the cut openings of the box, they're both very similar. I would say the fake one opens very easily and isn't very stiff, whereas the retail one is a little bit more stiff and fights back a little bit when pushing against it. Obviously the opening is a different size because the retail box is bigger, so do take that into consideration. When looking at the color of the top and the Nike logo on the top, I would say that the retail one, the Nike red text, is in a lighter color, whereas the fake one is a darker red on top. So now we'll just open up and take a look at the shoes themselves. I'll try and do this at the same time. Here is the plastic off-white paper on top. What I would say is a clear difference is the fake one is much more cloudy than the retail one. The retail one is crystal clear when looking through the paper, and the fake one is a little bit cloudy and a little bit thicker in terms of the actual plastic material. They do both have the off-white branding on it, and I would say that the retail one, the text is larger than the fake one. Don't know if this depends on the size of the shoe, but that is something to note. So we'll move the plastic covering to the side. What must be noted on the fake pair, it did actually come with the Made in China tags attached, but I did them for an old comparison and de-attached them, so they were attached, but now they are no longer attached. But here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Off-White Air Jordan 1 in the UNC colorway. Can you tell any differences between these two? Obviously, other than the size. As we're taking both pairs out of the boxes, what can be noted is the shoelaces do come spare, and if I give you a close-up of a comparison of the orange laces, we can see differences straight away. So if we look at the retail one compared to the fake one, you can see the fake one, the orange color is far more vibrant than the retail one. Also, the shoelaces text is slightly different. It's slightly more chunky on the fake one and also smaller. Then if we compare the blue laces, once again, you can see a difference in color here, On the retail one, it is a lighter blue, more aqua color than on the fake one, which is more of a shade towards a royal blue color. Also, the shoelaces text is different again and is much larger on the retail one compared to the fake. In the fake box, the tag came loose. It was not actually attached to the shoe, whereas on the retail pair, the tag is attached to the left shoe by the lower lace, which is looped through above the toe box. And another difference is on the fake one, look how open that tag is. It's very loosely attached, whereas on the retail one, look how tightly it is pulled together. So there is a difference there. Also, if I give you a close-up of the tags themselves, you can see differences in color. The retail one is a darker, more prominent red, I would say, compared to the fake one, which is a much lighter pink color from underneath. When looking from the top of the tag at the off-white text on top, you can also see differences here. On the retail one, you can see the text is more prominent just because of that color difference between the text and the actual tag color itself. So there are differences to note. But that's pretty much it for the boxes and the contents, but we will now take a look at the shoes themselves and break down some of the differences directly on the shoes. So here are the two pairs, and we'll now go into detail at some of the differences between a retail and fake if you are trying to purchase a retail pair and what you have to look for. So the first difference that is very easy to spot out of the box is if you turn it round to the heel of the shoe. And if we take a look at this lower blue section here on the heel cup and we zoom in on the actual details of the pattern, you can see clear differences here. So if you look at the retail compared to the fake, you can see there are clear pattern differences in the actual material, as well as the lighter color appearing on the retail one compared to the fake, which is a much darker blue compared to the retail. Also on the back, and we look at this square white leather patch on the heel, you can see the ghost stitching on retail to fake is very much different. On the retail one, the ghost stitching is very clear and visible, and this occurs all around the shoe, whereas on the fake one, it's visible at points, but on this white patch at the back of the shoe, the ghost stitching is not very strong. It's very faint indeed. If we spin the shoe around to the outer side and we see this swoosh here, just on the inner side at this section here, and I'll give you a close-up of this, you can see the exposed foam just above the swoosh. On the retail one, you can see it also has this exposed foam. However, there is a much larger section of exposed foam on the fake pair compared to the retail. And that is really hard to say. But you can see a difference between retail and fake. Spinning the shoe around to the inner side, we can see positional changes between the off-white text. This may be because of the retail sizing being completely different to the fake. However, I have analysed it compared to a UK 9 and the positioning of the text is slightly off. So I do recommend, if you are purchasing a retail pair, do check against other pairs of your size and if the text is similar to your size. If we spin the shoe around to the outer side again and take a closer look at the Air Jordan Wings logo, we can see differences here again, and more specifically at the shape of the O in Jordan. You can see there are clear differences in the actual shape of the O compared from retail to fake. Also, it must be noted that the text on the Air Jordan Wings logo on the retail pair is much slimmer and more crisply printed compared to the fake one, which is slightly thicker. What I must say is the fake one has the Air text on this pretty much spot on. It is comparable with all retail pairs. It does move slightly depending on your size, but for this pair, they've got it absolutely spot on, so that is slightly worrying. If I give you a close-up of that off-white orange tab on the outer side, we can see differences here once again. On the fake one, you can see the tab is slightly large compared to the retail one, and on the retail one, the stitching covers up most of the orange tab, whereas on the fake one, it doesn't. However, the ghost stitching on the fake one is very, very good on the suede-like material. Giving you a close-up of the tongue, and we look at the Nike Air swoosh label on the outer side of the tongue, we can see differences here as well. Obviously, these pairs are both dead stock, and you can see on the fake one, the Nike Air logo is way brighter than it is on the retail one. On the retail one, it almost slightly looks faded, so that is a difference to note between retail and fake. On the inside of the Jordan Wings logo tab, you can see that the Wings logo has printed through, and it is very dark and bold and prominent, whereas on the fake one, if you open up the Wings logo again, it can be visible, but it's not as clear as on the retail pair. Also, on the inside of this Wings logo tab, you can see differences in color in the actual material. The retail one is a lighter shade of blue compared to the fake one, which is darker. Obviously, the 85 is of different size because of the size of the shoe. When looking from above, and I'll give you a close-up of both toe boxes, once again, you can see a clear difference in the shape. And if we take a close look at the stitching going around the toe box, you can see it's more tightly packed together on the retail one, comparing this to the fake. However, I actually am very impressed with this shoe. When looking at the actual color of the shoe overall, It's pretty much got it absolutely spot on. The ghost stitching is very good indeed, and the overall quality of the materials, it's worrying to say how good it is. So this was just a short review and comparison of the Off-White Air Jordan 1 in the UNC colorway. I hope this video has helped you if you are trying to purchase a retail pair, because they are getting scarily close. So please be careful and check out Legitmark if you are uncertain, because this is an expensive mistake to make. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Please subscribe, like, do all that, because it really does help the channel grow. But there's nothing really left to say, but thank you for watching and hope you have a great day. And here, oh no, oh no, oh no.